What's up, YouTubers? I'm over here cleaning out my self-storage unit and organizing stuff, and I came by this artwork that I had on my shop wall, and I realized that I never uploaded the video on how I made it to share it, so that's what this video is going to be today. You're going to see me draw this out by hand and then fully weld it out. Turned out pretty good, and in my next shop it'll be hanging up on the wall for me to look at. So anyways, let's get into it. Got everything laid out the way I like it, I guess. Well, it's not perfect. I could have done better. There's a lot of things I would like to change. But one of the things I've learned about making art, at least for myself, is do you want to make art or do you want to make things perfect? Because if you want to make things perfect, you're never going to make any art because you're going to make one or two pieces and struggle with those. Or if you want to make art, you can make 100 pieces, some okay, some great, some crap, I guess. But at least you make something. And that's something, I don't know, perfectionism is great, but at some point you have to draw the line and say, is this close enough? And that's coming from me. I'm a perfectionist. Like, you have no idea how much of a perfectionist I am, but that's kind of the point of me making art, is so that I can just relax a little bit and back off the perfectionism a little bit and allow mistakes to be made so that ultimately I can make something awesome without being stressed out about making it, if that makes sense. Now, I had the hook mostly done before the video died, and I had to look up a picture of a hook because it's been so long since, well, I shouldn't say long. I see them all the time at my work, but like, it's not something that I committed to memory on how it should look. So I had to look up a picture of one, and I saw that my angles a little bit were off. I kind of fixed it really simply. So that was pretty easy. Now the rope, all I did is use a tape measure, mark 1/4 inch increments, and then offset the lines and just drew straight lines across to get the rope or steel cable-like appearance. Now, I know it's going to sound a little bit strange. Let me take a seat here. Most of this you could do if you're decent at TIG welding, and even if you're not decent, a lot of this is pretty easy. And let me explain. Like, doing this rope is literally just a series of kind of like S welds, start to finish. The rope, very easy. Almost everything else, like this hook, very easy, because as you're welding, very easy, because if you look, it just kind of, my hand follows that natural curve. The absolute hardest thing on here, and I'm going to have to do some practice, the first hardest thing is going to be these circles, which fortunately, the bigger they get, generally the easier they are, because they can follow the arc of my hand. These small ones are going to be really tough, but by far, no comparison. The hardest welds on this to make are going to be this and this. And the reason is, look at the length and how straight that has to be. The rest of this is trivial. The hardest thing in the world to TIG weld, or weld in general, is a perfectly straight line. Especially, I mean, this is probably 9-inch long, 8-inch, 7-inch there, plus the curve. I mean, yeah, you're running 9.5 inches. Now, I'm unsure if I'm going to start here and try and weld the whole thing. I'll tell you what, that's going to be tough. maybe I'll be able to do it, but like I said, I'm gonna have to practice some, because that straight line is absolutely gonna be killer to do. There's some ways that I can get around doing it in one pass and making it look good. We'll have to see. Like I said, I'll have to experiment. But the other thing is that I was so happy with the size and the layout of this overall, even though it is a little bit different from my concept drawing. I mean, this was just a concept, and this was never going to be on there. That's just the internal pulley to give me an idea. And again, this is not correct. I mean, this should be, I would say, wider for this size rope, or the rope should be smaller. The pulley should be bigger. Like, there's a lot of things mechanically wrong with this, but we're going for the image of it. And I think that anyone in their right mind would realize this is a block and tackle of the hook. You know, this pretty self-explanatory as far as what it is. So that I have succeeded in. Never mind the fact that it wouldn't necessarily work in real life. A little bit wrong proportions, but I like it. Again, you know, I'm not really much of an artist. This is all like risk. I mean, I have no idea how this is going to turn out when it comes down to it. My hope is that it looks really nice, and that when I walk into my shop and I see it, that I'm thankful I made it. And so far, I'll be honest with you, I made a lot of art that you haven't even seen in my shop video, nor have you seen it on any other pictures, because I've made a lot of stuff that I either gave away or, you know, donated or made for friends, whatever. So you have seen very little of the stuff I've done. And to date, I've only scrapped maybe 2 pieces. And the one of them that and there was a third that I almost scrapped, and that actually turned out to be the best piece I think I ever did. It was extremely difficult, and I just wasn't happy with it. And 3/4 of the way through, I was going to put it in the fuck it bin, and it turned out better than any other piece I've done. So long story short, I'm kind of hoping that I can do this justice. And worst case is, you know, I have to tweak it a little bit while I'm welding it and fix screw ups. But hey, it is what it is. That's art for you. It's just unfortunate that when you're dealing with welding on stuff like this material, it's very, very unforgiving. I mean, you're melting metal. It's not like paint where you can just let it dry and touch it up. I mean, if you screw up bad enough, it's going to be a challenge to fix it and make it look decent. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the completed project. Thanks for sticking around for the whole video. If you have any ideas of something I could weld like this, let me know. I might take it on, and I might even give it to you as a thanks for recommending it. But yeah, this kind of project isn't out of the realm of a normal average TIG welder's ability. It just comes down to practice and a little bit of hard work, but it's not as hard as it seems. Well, with that said, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys around.